Hey everybody, happy back to school. In this video, this is all about our school-wide WIG for the 2017-2018 school year. And for those of you who are new to South, you might be wondering, what is a WIG? So WIG is a wildly important goal, and this is a goal that students are going to track in their leadership notebooks and on your classroom scoreboard, which we'll talk more about in a second. And we also have a grade level and school-wide goals that we will be tracking on the bulletin board in the hallway with the WIG bell, which is next to the computer lab. So if you're new to South, the WIG bell is a pretty awesome way to have our students celebrate their victories and their celebrations. And anytime a student meets a goal, they get to go ring the WIG bell. So it's a pretty awesome way to celebrate a victory. So going along with WIG, so there's two different types of WIGs, a growth WIG and a proficiency WIG. And I found that this was important to share with you because we're doing things a little bit different this year than what we did for last year. So we are focusing on a growth WIG. So these are the WIGs that we share and discuss with our students, and they're focused on closing the gaps. And these are also going to be the ones that we use as a school, as a grade level in our classrooms, and then our individual kids in our classrooms. So the proficiency WIG is the WIG that we will use as teachers that we set for our class or for specific students based on any data that we collect during the year. And these are the types of WIGs that we will set in PLCs. So again, we're focusing on these growth WIGs, and these are the WIGs that are meant to close the gaps, but not to show proficiency. So when we look at our 2017-2018 WIG, we're going to focus on math this year. And our WIG is that students will increase their math fact fluency proficiency by the end of the school year. And like I had mentioned, we're breaking this up into our school-wide WIG, grade level classroom, and then our student academic growth WIG. So we're going to start from the top and then kind of work our way down. So starting with our school-wide WIG, this is where 80% of students will meet their academic WIG during the 2017-2018 school year. So again, 80% of our population, and since our WIG is based on math fact fluency, these WIGs can be short-term or they can even be long-term, just depending on the gap that the student has. And we are going to track these with a grade level fish display in the hallway, which I'll talk more about in a second. So our grade level WIG is going to be in whatever grade, 80% of students will show growth toward their academic WIG. So for example, in 4th grade, 80% of those students. And based on whatever numbers we have in each grade level, we will have that on a fish, and students will add scales to these fish anytime they meet their WIG. So this is what I've started with pre-K. So pre-K has about 20 students next year, so 80% of that would be 16. So there's 16 scales on this fish, and this is a great visual for students and then us as well, just to see how close that we are to that 80% of students meeting a goal, meeting a WIG. So when I am looking at, so when I'm looking at our grade level WIG, like I had mentioned, students are going to add scales to these fish, our grade level fish, once they meet their WIG and ring the bell. And then it goes to our classroom. So in Miss Reynolds' class, students will make growth toward their academic WIG. And this is just the WIG that is posted on our classroom scoreboard, and then we'll also show our individual kids' progress through their individual WIGs that they choose. So then going down from there, so now we have our student academic growth WIG. So this is where students will track in their leadership notebook, and their WIG will be phrased as, I will move from blank to blank math facts by blank. So some examples that I had put, I can count from 11 to 20 by October 24th. So remember, it's important to do the from X to Y by when, so that we can actually see and measure these goals that our students make. Something that I'll probably use in 4th grade is I will move from my 4 times tables to my 6 times tables by October 24th. And these WIGs, they are based on what gap the individual student needs to close. So just because, for example, I teach 4th grade, that doesn't mean that all of my students will be working on multiplication for their WIG. They might have to back up and fill in whatever gaps that they may have from earlier number sense levels. So that kind of leads into where we can set our WIG. So as the Lighthouse team, we had built, or not built, but we have put together these levels of math fact fluency and then our lead measure pick list. So we're going to start here with the levels of math fact fluency, and this is where we will base this level on a pretest score, and then they work up these levels as they master each task. And this looks like this. And so we're just going to go ahead and go in sequence. So every student will start here at this first level, so 1-to-1 correspondence, and then just building up from there. And mastery is going to be 100%, and this will be however many questions are on their quick check or their fast fact check in 1 minute. It might not necessarily be 10 questions. It just depends on whichever quiz that they're taking. So those are the levels of math fact fluency. So like I said, once we get into our classrooms and we give our kids pre-tests and we can see where their base level is, that's where they will start, and then they'll work up from there. And then the lead measure pick list. So this is where, once we determine whatever fact fluency level that they're at, we'll go ahead and help our students pick some lead measures. And these are just some guides that can help guide your students on what they need to specifically work on and use in order to meet their goal. So, for example, we had put fact practice nightly, so however many times per week, practicing with flashcards so many times per week, getting with their accountability buddy. So again, these are just suggestions, and if you come up with something that best fits your students, by all means, totally use that. At the bottom of this, we had talked about, these are our lead measures for teachers. So when we are creating these proficiency WIGs in PLCs, this is more what our WIG will look like. So Mrs. Reynolds' class will move from 12 students to 20 students being proficient in math by, and this might not be June because these will change with our new data that we collect throughout the year. And then these are just some of the things. So if I differentiate my math stations, I can move my students up in proficiency levels. Something I forgot to mention, this right here with behavior goal of 80% or higher on Class Dojo. So we had talked about how if a student typically doesn't pay attention in math, and this might be a factor as to why they might not be proficient in math, this could be something that they could use that you could check on Class Dojo, and if they're losing points for being off task or whatever behavior you may have set in your Class Dojo, then this could be something that they could work on and really strive for that 80% or higher for their behavior goal. So those are the two things that we're going to use to set our WIGs and help our students set our WIGs. And then, so measuring our growth and progress. So we have weekly fact quizzes, and these quizzes should be done weekly, just so students have a lot of opportunities to meet their goals. So mastery, like I said, is 100%. Most of these on here are 21 questions in 1 minute. Like I said, for the earlier, like kindergarten, first grade levels, so like 1-to-1 correspondence and things like that, those might not be 21 questions, because some of those things might have to be done one-on-one between the teacher and the student. But this data does need to be tracked in their leadership notebooks, and with this file that we had gotten, they do have punch cards with these if you wanted to use them in your class to kind of help you keep track. So, for example, like the addition, so zeros, ones, twos, and then if we go down further, there's the minute to win it, quick fact checks. So these, like I said, can be taken every week, and just so students can see their progress and their growth. And then once students meet their WIG, they can set a new WIG based on their next level of fact mastery. So, for example, if a student is working on addition, like I had just showed you, and they have mastered their zeros, then they should be creating a new WIG for the next level. So then, I will move from my zeros to my ones, or my ones to my twos by whatever date that you set for your kids. So this is just a very quick overview of our WIG for this year. This PowerPoint presentation will be shared with you, and you can go back and then, of course, let me know if you have any questions. Thanks, guys.